Now, you're taking P84 and you're making these gut peptides. Now, the first thing that I usually get from people on this is, oh, we can make peptides. Yep, you make the peptides. I think there's a lot of education going around that peptides can only be taken exogenously, like only can be taken externally. And there's a lot of companies going around talking about it right now. They're very trendy. It's the word, but your body makes these things. It makes lots of them, which is incredible. And they are responsible for all these different key areas of your health. Going back to those 3 R's, the regulation, the repair, and the restoration of your gut. Now, I'm going to be very specifically talking about gut peptides right now, but there are still quite a few gut peptides that your body makes. Now, when we were looking at a gut activator, there were two ways that we could move forward because we knew this was a hole in our portfolio. Like the gut was so important. And we had some wonderful products, our probiotic, our prebiotic, and our daily wellness. And they are fantastic supplements, but they were not true activators. So there was a gap. There was room for something else. And so we've known this. And so there were kind of two options. The first option was my team could build it, and they are more than capable of building a fantastic formula, or we could find one. And typically we make it, but in this case, we were able to find this formula. Now, I've told this story for some people, but if you've not heard it, like when we were thinking about acquiring this company, Love Biome, who originally created this formula, our CEO and president, Steve Fife, came to me and he's like, hey, Lisa, like we're considering this. Don't tell anyone, which is great. You always love when you're like, okay. And actually, Julie told me first, and our CMO, and I was in a parking garage and it was dark and she's looking around and she's like, is anyone listening? And I was like, oh goodness, what is she going to tell me? It was that we were going to potentially acquire this company. And the conversation that we had was we're considering this, but we need your team, or we need you because the team wasn't brought in at that time, to look at their key formula, P84, and see if you think it fits our philosophy. Because we've worked so hard for activation to be our differentiator. We've been sticking to that North Star. We're not going to ruin it. Now, we could still acquire the company, and if you don't like the formula, it could go on Amazon or could go another pathway. It could never be LifeVantage, but we really want it to be LifeVantage, so we need you to take a really close look. So I built what I do best. I'm a big nerd, type A, so I built a spreadsheet that has like 15 different tabs to it, going down to what does each botanical do? Now, what does each probiotic do? What does each prebiotic, postbiotic, digestive enzyme? What does every piece of this formula do? Is it just supplementary, or would there be a potential to activate the gut with this? Is it the right quality of ingredients? Is it safe ingredients? Is it the right form of ingredients? Is there any ingredients that you would not want to have in your body at all? Like, is it clean the way you would want it to be? And as I'm going through my spreadsheet, slide by slide by slide, it was yes, 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 looked great. And then I actually did something with my team where I brought them in. I said, hey guys, like come in. They knew nothing about this. I was like, I just want to brainstorm today. We're done we did a bunch of other stuff. Let's just brainstorm. Let's just have fun. Like, let's create a gut activator. Like, what would you have on that? I was like, here's my board, because I'm a board person. I was like, write on my whiteboard, draw it. And so they're writing, they're putting ingredients on there, they're putting benefits, and they put thing after thing. And I'm like, yep, that's in P84. That's in P84. That's in P84. And so as I was, and they had no idea what was going on, no vested interest in it. And it was so validating to me that my own team, who's brilliant, was creating something very similar to something that I already had in my hands. And at that point, with my own research and my team's unknowing participation, I was able to say with a hearty yes, that yes, I believe this is an activator. Let's move forward. And our executive team, to their credit, like they were waiting for that. And they're like, that was one of their like go, no goes. And once I said go, they moved forward, which was incredible. But what's even more beautiful about P84 is the research we've done since then, which I'll be talking about in a minute. But a few kind of things with P84. So it's the two formulas that I've mentioned, the PhytoPower 1 and PhytoPower 2. The P stands for phytonutrients, so plant nutrients. 84 talks about that there are 84 ingredients between the two formulas. Now, I'm not saying 84 unique ingredients, and that's very purposeful because there are ingredients that are in both formulas. Like, for example, like a blueberry in both. Now, the reason when Love Biome was creating this formula, they counted them separately is they said, okay, well, in this formula, it's having this function. It's focusing more on these pathways. And then in this formula, it's doing more of this. So they counted it twice. So with 84, it's 84 things added in, and then some of them are repeated. So just to be really clear about that. And it's not just the 84, or the 84 is not just the phytonutrients. So it's not just the plants. It's also the probiotics. And there's quite a few, and the diversity of those is phenomenal, which is incredible because something you can really screw up with probiotics is being too targeted, because the key of the game is diversity. That's really what's going to be impactful for your gut. So it had wide range of diversity for probiotics. It had the right prebiotics to feed those. It had fantastic postbiotics, digestive enzymes to help everything break down. It had all of the right things. And so the 84 kind of encompasses all of that. And so I think what made this formula so incredible to me is that with this many ingredients, it's so easy to do it wrong. It's so easy to put lots of filler in there, put the wrong ingredients. But as I kept researching each ingredient and the amounts that it was put in there, I kept being impressed that the care had been put to put the right ingredients in the right amounts to be able to have the impact. And so with P84, we're talking about going beyond the supplementation and activating gut health, which makes it so different from anything else. Because I think one of the big questions I get all the time is, oh, well, not even a question, a statement. Oh, this is a green greens drink. And I'm like, oh, well, first of all, it's not even just like a greens drink. It has probiotics, prebiotics, all these other things that I mentioned. But also I'm like, it's the right ingredients in the right amounts, and it's a gut activator. Like, does any greens drink you've ever seen have any of this kind of data that we're going to talk through? And the answer is no. This is something that's comprehensive gut health, and it truly works along with your body. It's not just supplementing these nutrients you're not getting. It's truly activating the processes within your own bodies. And so those three R's that we talked about already, the regulate, repair, and restore, as we were determining what targets we wanted to test with our P84, those are the three categories we came up with. Because of regulation, your gut has peptides that control digestion, nutrient absorption, immunity, barrier function, hormone function, and communication. It also has peptides that support repair of the gut. That gut lining helps you under stress or injury and helps to calm those overactive responses. And then we have the restoration, because not only do you want to put the right probiotics into your gut, you need to make sure that you have the right environment for those probiotics. Otherwise, you're just kind of throwing things into the gut and hoping they stick. So with these three R's, you have peptides that are doing all three of these processes. So when you add anything else to your gut health routine, like if you added our probio, which is complementary, or our prebio, which is complementary, or daily wellness, which is complementary, they're able to work better because you have a healthier gut. You're not just putting probiotics into a broken vessel. You're putting it into a vessel that has already been kind of optimized and brought back up to par. So then you're not having to overcome all of these hurdles with it. Now, I want to go, the next couple of slides, or next three slides, are going to talk about some of the study results that we received from this. Because the one thing we knew immediately is we had this product. I'm like, it's going to be an activator, but it's not enough for me just to say it's an activator. I mean, we have to have the proof in it. And so we immediately went into testing and we're like, okay. And to be really honest, so there are 14 peptides that I'm going to talk about. I picked 14 with Christina, Dr. Christina Beer, who's my director of research, because I thought maybe we could activate 10 of them. I wanted to kind of hedge my bets. What was incredible is that every single peptide we tested out of the 14, we activated. We influenced in the correct direction, which is amazing. And that's just the 14 we tested. That's not even, I wouldn't even limit it to that. And it's because, once again, it's the right ingredients in the right amounts. Like if you get your P84, you just look through all the ingredients. You have green ingredients, orange, red, purple, like all of these different ones. And each of them, as we were digging into the research, kind of tied to these different categories of regulation, repair, and restoration. Because what's important about phytonutrients is the bioactive compounds contained within them. It's not just like, oh, we're just putting some like pumpkin in there. It's the bioactive compound within the pumpkin. So it's knowing that you have the right things in the ingredients to be able to have the biological activity. And that's what makes it so powerful. So with this study, this is that I'm going to be talking about, it's a cell study. We tested our activator, our P84, in 4 different gut cells. The number of that's not too important. The reason we picked 4 is because that's where we needed to see, like that's where the peptides would be expressed in. But I think it's important to know that your gut is incredibly diverse and you're going to have wide-ranging effects. Also, I think it's incredible that there's so many peptides in your gut. The question I got asked when we were working on P84 to begin with and reviewing it is, what's the one switch that we can flip in the gut to make it activated and working? And I laughed, and I love my bosses and I love my team, but I was like, there's not one switch that you flip. The gut is incredibly complicated. There's all of these peptides. I'm like, it has to be peptides. It's not going to be peptide or one thing. It's complicated. But what the beauty is of P84 is that it takes care of all of these complicated systems within your gut and activates them so that you don't even need to know that they're there. Like, you take this thing, it's incredibly easy. I literally just have it in my cup right now. I've been drinking it on my meeting that I had right before this. And it's taking care of all these things, so I don't even need to think about them, which is great. So I'm going to walk you through some of them. There's not going to be a test after this. You don't need to know them, but it's kind of nice to know, like, what are we influencing here? So we have three categories. The first is the regulators. These are the ones that are regulating all those processes from the digestion to the nutrient absorption, all that I mentioned. We have vasoactive intestinal peptide, VIP, that increases by 100%. So that's helping to calm those overreactive areas of the gut. You have your gastrin releasing peptide, which is very heavily increased. And it's really that first responder. You eat something and it's firing up all the digestive juices so that you can make sure you digest everything. We have neurotensin, which is helping all the nutrients move throughout your digestive system so you can be able to get the most from them. We have our OXM, which is helping to coordinate a nutrient absorption, actually communicate that there is energy available to your brain so it knows. So it's, once again, working along that gut-brain axis. We have SST, which is regulating the regulators. So everything's in balance. Your system is in perfect harmony. We never want to increase something indefinitely. It's all about checks and balances. And the beauty of SST is it regulates all of the other peptides to ensure they're in the right amount. So if they're too much, it's like, okay, calm down, that we're done. So that's the beauty of activation, is that you never are just you're not hitting an on switch. It's like essentially you're moving up these little dials on a soundboard and balancing it to the right amount. So you're never just turning something on. If you are turning something on or turning something off completely, you're dead or you're cancerous. We are bringing things back into balance exactly how your body intended them. And then the last one on this page is CCK, which we increased by 69%, which is making sure that fats and proteins are properly processed. So you're having soothing, you're having digestion, multiple pieces of digestion, nutrient absorption. And another thing with VIP is it also communicates with and regulates your immunity as well. So you get an immunity piece to this as well. It's an incredible peptide. And so we influence all of these significantly. And then we move over into the repairers, because once again, if you have that gut system that is not that is like leaky and not working and needs patches, like you're not going to be able to reap the benefits of any product that you're taking. So you need to have a healthy vessel. And so first is TFF3, which we increased by 116%, and it essentially manages gut lining repair necessary. Now, the one out of these 14 that you're going to see decrease is zonulin, and that is exactly what you want it to do. You want it to decrease, and it keeps the good and keeps the bad out. But what happens in a lot of gut conditions, and I'm not going to say exactly what it is because it gets a little bit diseasy, but you end up with elevated levels of zonulin. So you want to see them decrease. We saw exactly that. Then we see claudin, ecadherin, and occludin, which are all key pieces of the structure, ensuring water tightness. The cells are sticking together. You're having the kind of fixing any weak spots that there are within the lining. And then we have our epiregulin, which is supporting new tissue growth. So we're fixing all the things, we're patching all the things, we're repairing all the things, and we're rebuilding tissue as we need it so we can have that strong and healthy gut structure. And then the final one that I want to discuss is called the restorers. And first is the mucin 2, and it's creating this nourishing barrier, nourishing layer that protects and keeps the gut stable. It's really making it so that you have the right microbiome within there. And then we also see GLP-2, which helps to foster this balanced environment so microbes can grow strong. Don't mess that up with GLP-1. It comes from the same master peptide, proglucagon. It breaks down into GLP-1, and then it further breaks down into GLP-2 and OXM, which are actually two other peptides that we influence in the study. but they have different functionality. And so with these, they're rebuilding, they're cultivating equilibrium, they're protecting, nourishing, and they're giving you that quiet resilience. And so we had this Protandim Nerve 2 that's helping you make your own antioxidants. It's incredibly powerful. It causes even the naysayers to see results and kind of turn back on that. And then we have this new activator that is incredibly powerful. It's activating gut peptides that you didn't even know you had. So much more powerful than anything you can take to be able to approach gut health comprehensively. Because I think what's so hard about gut health is you never know exactly what to do. You cycle through all these probiotics, you try different prebiotics, you try you try the different ferments and things, and you're just trying thing after thing, and you're just like, I don't know what it is, and I don't know what my gut microbiome needs, and I don't know what my gut needs. The beauty of activation is that it's going to activate exactly what you need. Like, there's not a need for a whole shelf of gut products. You have a comprehensive solution right here. And then, as I said earlier, like, when we put our activators together, that's where we see synergies. We see the power. And so if you put something that gives you healthy cells by protecting them with something that gives you a healthy gut, just imagine those possibilities. It goes back to that you need them all working together. You need your offense, your P84, restoring, communicating, keeping your systems agile and strong. And you need that defense, protecting your cells from everything that life is throwing your way. And so together, you're getting to the cell of it all, you're getting to the gut of it all, so you can truly see transformational results. And so I think what's important is, as shiny as P84 is, I would not even add it if you don't have Nerve 2. Like, do the two of them together. Because I think if we forget how important each individual cell is, like, think about it. What I tested in the study, what did we look at? We looked at cells. We looked at 4 gut cells, and we had them produce peptides by adding these ingredients. What happens if those gut cells are not healthy? I mean, you can stimulate them as much as you can, but you're not going to have optimized production of any of those peptides. What if you add something that makes those cells healthy? Then you're removing that barrier so that when you are stimulating them with your P84, you're getting that peptide production just as you need it. So anytime you're adding in a product, having healthy cells is the no-brainer to add to that equation to ensure you're getting the best out of what you're adding into your body.